Hey everybody, I'm Sean Robinson,
I'm Carson Grubaugh.
I'm Brandon Graham.
and welcome to Living the Line. And Brandon and I, did a bunch of a segment that we quite enjoyed over the summer called Comic Show and Tell. I say over the summer, I think at least one of them ran as late as last week.
We
Uh,
might still have one more
oh,
left.
you
I'm
might.
not sure. We have a good queue built up. Yeah.
Yeah, but the goal of these is to have a short, casual conversation about something that we wouldn't necessarily have a full video about, and sometimes it sparks off another discussion, like when Brandon and I talked about nostalgia and comics and stagey stuff and international influences while we were talking about the Smurfs. But a lot of the times we're just going to do something fairly brief, and that's what we're doing today. I think Brandon, it's your turn to show and tell. So what are you going to show with us? Show for us
Okay.
today.
Let's do a share screen here.
We're all getting to the point where we look like old men. We're like, we need, where's that button?
We were so young and pretty when Live in Line started, and now time has gotten quick.
We've done a full presidential term, and that,
So I think
that gives anyone white hair.
I will start with. Can you guys see this?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
So I'm going
Oh
to
my
start with
gosh.
this. I have a shelf. I don't know if you can see much behind me, but I have a shelf over here which is just uh like weekly manga that I've hoarded since I was a teenager.
Mm.
And I was going through it as we're all discussing the idea of manga that we've never seen translated over here, with the idea of like what we would like to see. And this is one of the craziest sports manga that I've ever seen, and it's called, as far as I can tell on the internet, the people are calling it Yamamoto Koshi's Bulls, and then I think it translates directly, or at least my horrible Google Translate idea of it, it says hard Sagma Regulus is what the name of it. And people that actually speak Japanese will be appalled by this, but this is a baseball manga that I just have one chapter of. There was 9 volumes of it, printed in the mid '80s, and this chapter starts with this, as you can see, a submarine going to domed cities to play a baseball game.
Underwater at the depths of the Mariana Trench.
Yeah, exactly. And I scanned most of the pages that I have of this because it's insane. And so they go to their baseball diamond underwater here,
Is this
and they
mid
face these
'80s
like,
or late '80s?
I would guess '86 is my guess. I'm not
Okay.
sure what
So so it's interesting how each of the genre codes kind of shift over time. You know, like this is still under the sway of I'm so sorry. What's the name of the Fist of the North Star
Yeah,
uh,
it's like
artist?
Tetsuo Ohara versus mixed with
Right.
Adachi.
Right, exactly. With mixed with a little bit of that sort of soft Adachi, like
It's weird. It's a weird combo, but like up top, it works pretty good actually. Those guys actually look more natural than what Tetsuo Ohara would do.
So where do you suppose the viewpoint is in that establishing shot at the top there, the characters?
They're on a series of steps, obviously. You have to like all manga has the blonde guy at the top of the steps and then the guy with the dark hair at the bottom. That's like one of those tropes that you see in Fist of the North Star, Berserk. Yeah, they're on steps.
All right, accept steps. Oh, and there's the evil overlord that they're playing the baseball game for.
Oh, he's really up on the steps.
Yeah, and I like this. I like this shot you get on the page on the right of the audience. They're all like wearing bow ties, and there's like bunny girls serving them drinks in the stadium.
All underwater too. Yeah, this is no wetsuits.
Well, they
Well,
got
I
a
assume they
dome,
went
man.
down there in the submarines.
Yeah, you missed the protective domes here.
It must affect the pressure somehow. I want to know about the physics of how baseball changes in a pressurized underwater dome city. Oh
Oh
shit.
my
I feel like
God.
I feel like the pages that I brought up now really give us the idea that there was not a lot of thought put into the science of this.
No, this is fantastic. This makes baseball way more interesting.
Hey now, come on. This season of all seasons,
Don't let Jasper hear me say that.
this is basically a documentary of the 2024 Dodgers team.
Exactly.
Oh,
There's some.
okay.
I mean, I held on to a surprising amount of sports comics because some of them is just a really technically impressive view of how to show movement, like have a really good golf comic they'll show another one of these episodes. And but this one just I've never seen anything this insane. Like you notice on the top left panel, the ball is on fire after it's knocked his hand off.
That is fantastic. This is like Dick Fight Island, but actually good, kind of like better, at
Oh
least.
yeah, significantly better. And this
So I
thing,
hope that when there's inevitably a release of all 19 volumes of this, that they quote both of you on the back cover as saying, even better than Dick Fight Island.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's catching one, right? He's catching a ball right to the balls.
I mean, there's only 9 volumes of this, so it wouldn't be impossible to translate. And I would like to put out a formal complaint that somebody translated Dick Fight Island before this.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. Yeah, so that's like three omnibus size tankobons, right? Like where they do the 3 volumes in one. Come on, someone could do that.
And I
It's like
feel like
one
if you
year.
really wanted teenage boys to care about manga and you showed anyone this would do it.
Yeah, so many of the students like down here in Alabama at least still care about sports so much. I mean, mostly football, but plenty of baseball, and this would be a good way in for a lot of my male students that don't read comics for sure.
Oh man.
There's something kind of confusing that happens in the narrative here where I don't think I scanned much past this like brutal baseball murder. I think the guy at the top of the big panel there is missing his head. Maybe not. But so the scene after this, they're all recovering and they're all alive and have their limbs back, which is really cool. And this is a later scene when they're
Oh
playing
my
the game again,
gosh.
and they just make this child's head explode.
This feels, I've been reading like scans of the original 2000 AD magazines from like the late 70s. This
Yeah.
feels a little bit like that in that they have what's the Harlem Heroes, that's like the football, basketball with jetpacks and kind of the edginess of that. It's a weird correlation to me, but yeah, it feels kind of like that in spirit.
Well, this is the miracle of boys comics is that once you have accepted an audience satisfaction model, and you have a weekly production that encourages a ramping up of the character's abilities and a ramping up of the other thing, then it's a natural thing. That it's not enough that you just train for baseball. You got to actually kill the other players and decapitate them, and
Yeah.
everything is an arms race to the top. We must get to the top. that
Yeah.
that pitching there on the upper left hand side with the head stock still and the arm flying across is crazy.
Yeah, something I like a lot about sports manga is how much they let you know the shape of the ball, or like you have to know kind of what's happening around it. Like the ball here almost never looks like a baseball.
Mm,
Like here it's just this like laser beam that's shooting through people.
yeah. Like you have to have a pretty good prior knowledge of the rules of the game. They're not explaining that as they go.
Imagine
Yeah.
Chris Claremont was captioning this.
Oh, God damn. No, please, no.
So
Well,
yeah, so I don't know if there's much to say about this book than it exists, and and I wish it was in English.
And there's a 3 volume omnibus series here for someone. You could get the whole thing done in a year, and we'd all love you for it.
it's true. You're going to sell at least 3 copies of it
Yes.
for
Oh,
sure. Well, thank you for letting me know that exists, Brandon. Uh,
Well, you're a big fan of Adachi, so that must be like quite a treat to see it abused that way.
oh yeah, no, this is good. It looks exactly like Touch, the sequel to Touch, Adachi's coming of age baseball story about heartfelt players who work their way through the game and overcome personal struggle in order to kill someone with a crush missile.
That would be amazing to release Touch and then put chapters of this in between every chapter.
Yeah, right. 1 volume of this, 1 volume of that.
What are what is public domain law international? How long do we have until we can do something like that with
60 years.
60 years in Japan?
No. 60 years from now till that particular thing is going
Oh.
to be public domain. International, unless there's some international standard is similar to the U.S. standard. No, that's not right. That depends.
I often feel like with these manga, because some manga I've found these one chapters of, and they're just so insane and bizarre, and then you see the entirety of it, and you're like, oh, I just found the weirdest chapter. So some of these might exist better as an idea of I wish I knew what the hell was going on than actually understanding the entirety of it.
Yeah, yeah, that's always the risk because like there could be a really good reason it hasn't been translated.
Well, I think we saw a few of them right there.
No, those are all good reasons for translation. Come on.
I mean, I don't feel like the people translating things are trying to bring the most insane, extreme stuff over here.
Yeah,
No, no.
not everybody thinks that way. I might know a few people do, but those people can't do 9 volume series right now. So
There was a book translated that I won't remember the name of that was about. It was in this style that was popular in Japan in the 90s, I think, where people were purposely trying to draw bad, and the manga was about a guy whose penis became the man, and he became his penis, and he started to shrink as his penis became human size.
but like drawn in a King Terry kind of style, is that?
Yeah, it was very badly, like purposely badly drawn. But the conceit, like if a comic like that was drawn like Fist of the North Star, then I mean maybe it exists.
So that would be like what, Smudge Volume 8, right? The guy who becomes his own penis?
Yeah, no. In all seriousness, I was going to say this on a different video, but I'll go ahead and say it now. In all seriousness, I have read in scare quotes more things in Japanese in the past 6 months than I have in English.
Yeah.
For that stuff, and I can't show any of those things because like if there's any chance that we're gonna get something, I can't telegraph any of that stuff. So we're not gonna be talking about any horror manga here. But no, there's a lot of like practical limitations for being a publisher of this size that include basically like the resources you have to throw at a series. That makes it fairly impractical. So like we've had enough success with the first 2 volumes that are already out of Smudge that it makes sense for us to budget like, hey, we can do 4 or 5 of these a year. But a license for a series is a very different proposition. A lot of times you can get a license for a single volume, and that same publisher is not going to give you the time of day to get a license for something that is essentially like a decades-long business transaction.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just too uncertain at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're sticking with the companies like Dark Horse or their own US.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody who has like a longer track record or something like that. And also you have to think about the amount of money that you put down for a single volume in terms of advances and things like that versus the amount of money it would be for a longer series.
Yeah.
And also just the general tendency, you can see this in public sales figures as well. Anybody who's interested in this type of stuff can become a member of BookScan, for instance, and you can get numbers on certain types of things. You can see a precipitous drop off after volume 1 of a certain series, and then volume 2 drops off again, and eventually you hopefully hit bottom. But you got to like really cross your fingers that bottom doesn't keep on coming, every time another volume comes out.
Well,
So, which is why all of the awesome things we're about to talk about in the next few videos are going to be multi-volume series. So,
and impossible to translate. Yeah.
yeah, and it's also why I'm not in front of my bookshelf right now.
Too many sneaky peeks.
All the secrets.
Exactly. All of the secrets, all of the smudgy secrets. Well, so thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope that Ichiro's okay from his arm dislocation and that he didn't kill too many of his opponents with that wicked fastball.
Maybe we'll find out in the next episode. No, probably not.
It's possible. It's very possible. All right, have a good one, everybody.